Two.
Stay for now.
Welcome to everyone to the regular meeting of council for April 28th. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. I'd like to call on Deputy Mayor Marecki to read the land acknowledgement, please.
I would like to acknowledge that the rural municipality of St. Andrews is located on Treaty One territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji, Cree, Dakota, and Den people, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We respect the spirit and intent of commitments in treaty making and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the spirit of true reconciliation and collaboration.
Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the agenda. Be it resolved the council adopt the agenda as amended with the addition of the following items. 6.6, Councillor Hunt, written report. 12.4, fire hall hiring of new members, and 12.5, mayor announcement. Could I get a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder, Councillor Slaker, all those in
I
favor?
got a question. What's 6.6, Councillor Hunt's report?
Well, it's in addition to the agenda, so I'm assuming you never made it on time.
Did you read your agenda? No,
It's your
it's on here.
I'm reading the resolution I printed out this morning.
Oh, it's been on there since,
But it's in it, you missed the deadline,
I didn't know there was a deadline.
Yeah, 72 hours before the meeting, you have to submit
the agenda.
your data. If you don't, it's an addendum. You would know that.
Yeah, that's been
Okay.
standard for years. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Adoption of minutes. Item 4.1. Be it resolved that council adopt the April 14th, 2026 council meeting minutes as presented. Could I get a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder, Councillor Mondor. Any errors or omissions? So minutes as presented, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Item 4.2. Be it resolved that council adopt the April 20th, 2026 meeting minutes as presented. Could I get a mover, please? Councillor Feeblecorn, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marecki. Any errors or omissions? All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. We have no reception of delegations, council reports. Does anybody have any questions on the council reports? I just have one, council good report. Who was elected the new president of Glenwood Community Club?
that was Heather Alexander.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councilor Hunt?
Just a clarification, Mayor, so your meeting you had on the Monday vote. I lost the agenda here now. De-weaponizing code of conduct, what does that? Can you
Well,
clarify that?
there's over of 137 municipalities. There was probably just under half are experiencing trouble with the code of conduct. And the big issue is it's not fair when one is filed and then it goes back, it's investigated, then it goes back to council to make the final decision on sanctions. Because that just causes more hardship amongst council members.
Okay,
What did you think? A bunch of us got together, we've been working on this for over a year. Other elected officials got together that we want to make a presentation to the province about and I talked to that deputy minister at the end of that seminar,
Right.
and he's grateful we're doing
and putting the sanctions into whose hands then? Who would recommend the sanctions?
Originally, this was passed, it was, we wanted like a retired police officer, retired judge, somebody else far removed, politically removed.
Okay.
But then it turned over to the MMA Association, CAOs, and then Minister Wharton. We had 33 recommendations and nothing was listened to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on, no bylaws, no approval of accounts. Be it resolved that council approve the April 24th, 2026 check detail report as presented. Could I get a mover, please? Councillor Slaker, seconder. Counselor Feeblecorn. Any comments, Counselor Schleicher?
I just wanted to say out loud, so St. Andrew's contribution to Red River planning this year for 2026 was $91,000. Is that correct? That's for the year?
Gary?
That is correct.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. 8.2, March 2026 financial statements update. Be it resolved that council approve the March 2026 financial statements as presented. Could I get a mover, please? Counselor Dornbos, seconder. Counselor Mondor, any comments or questions? Counselor Dornbos?
Thank you, Carrie, for the correction.
Sorry about that, I apologize.
It was the variance percentage was completely off the ledge.
It was like 3 billion.
Like $5 trillion or something like that.
I had to get Munaware actually to fix the report, because it was a Munaware issue, and I just reran the reports with a different percentage, but they fixed it now.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Draft financial statements. Be it resolved that the 2023 financial statements be tabled to the May 12th, 2026 meeting to allow for public review. Could I get a mover, please? Counselor Mondor, seconder, Counselor Schleicher. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Correspondence for action, item 9. Be it resolved that be authorized to attend the 26th annual Promoting Aboriginal Student Success Gathering being held May 20th, 2026 at the Lord Selkirk Regional Comprehensive Secondary School in Suffolk. Who would like to attend? Deputy Mayor Marecki, I'll be attending. Anybody else wish to attend? Rob, we will be attending, the whole day, or they want to know if you're staying through the lunch. I'm just going in the morning. Okay. I'll put it in here morning. Could I have a mover, please? Counselor Mondor, seconded by Counselor Dornbos. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is approved. Manitoba Highland Gathering 2026. Be it resolved that be authorized to attend the 58th annual Manitoba Highland Gathering being held on June 20th and 21st, 2026 at Legacy Park in East Selkirk. They have asked that the mayor bring greetings on behalf of the RM. Who else would like to attend? Mayor Soul. Now, they've also asked, we always used to give them $1,000. And then COVID hit, then the person in charge, Joyce, which I remember, she was not well, but the two ladies that run it now, Margaret and the other one, they attend all of our open houses. And she had sent an email asking if council would consider contributing to the event.
Have we ever contributed to?
Yeah, we always did.
Not our council.
No,
Not since we've
since-
come on,
Not since COVID.
correct, and
We always used to contribute $1,000.
this is held in St. Clement.
Yeah. Would council consider even giving $500?
I would.
And what type of recognition do we get out of that?
They have it's all in the attachment, the sponsorship.
$1,000 is all.
Lincoln logo on the website.
Okay.
For 300, you can get a half page. In the membership program.
Are you looking at the sponsorship package?
Yeah.
Mhm. 5,000, 3,000, 1,000, or then at 300, 150, or 6?
The next page though.
Prince Charles, direct one, yeah,
Which one we?
The Bonnie Prince Charlie category on the second page.
I never scrolled down, I thought it was just that page.
Okay, is everybody good with 500? Cause we always give 1,000 for you. So we can just start back with it. Comments? Somebody repeat that, David.
No.
In terms of what we have budgeted for donations, this,
We do have a little bit of extra room in there. Last year we budgeted about 65. I budgeted the same. We used maybe 36,000 of it. So I know that we have the ability to go a little bit higher if you do so choose.
Only May or April. 500 pre-plan, we have it in the budget already.
Okay, so donation of 500. Mayor Sewell attending. Could I get a mover, please? Counselor Mondor, seconder, Counselor Donner-Boss. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Selkirk Safe Grad, June 29th. Be it resolved that Mayor Sewell and spouse be authorized to attend the Selkirk Safe Grad ceremony and dinner being held June 29th in Selkirk. Could I get a mover, please? Counselor Doornbos, seconder. Counselor Mondor, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Correspondence for information. Did you say Red River Pine, Jennifer was gonna be here? Oh, no, she's for the next item. Any questions? There's the development plan bylaw amendment number. 296/26. Anybody have any comments about that?
This has come for some point time.
This one's been a long time coming.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
it was already brought up at Red River Planning, your members, I filled in for no. Yes, Deputy Mayor Marecki was there, it was a family owned piece of property. Any other questions on the information? Okay. Item 11,
item 10.6 for the Harlem Golf Tournament.
oh, I had already questioned Lisa on that if we needed a resolution, but a formal formal invite will be coming. This is just simply the date for August. Item 11, old unfinished business, resolution for decision zoning bylaw amendment number 44238 McLennan Road. Is this the one that you said Jennifer Ferguson's gonna be?
She's in on the call here if we have questions. This is the reasons for rejection of the zoning bylaw amendment 4423 McLennan Road.
Okay, so I'll read the resolution to get it on the table. Whereas council has considered the application zoning bylaw amendment number 4423, the Red River Planning District Development Plan, the Arm of St. Andrew zoning bylaw and input provided at the public hearing. Therefore, be it resolved that the application has been rejected for the following reasons. The application may generate negative impacts on the adjacent properties. Could I get a mover, please? Counselor Mondor, seconded by Counselor Doornbos. Okay, Jennifer is online if council has any questions about.
We're doing this one?
Because it's legislated that when you reject an application, you have to give reasons
Mhm.
in writing. And we
Because they
forgot
can
to do
take,
that.
and they can take it to the municipal board?
Well, it's under legislation,
Oh,
we
it's under
have to give reasons and
Planning Act, section 174-1, reasons for rejection for the zoning
Must
bylaw.
always be filed?
Yes, typically done at the same time, but we're doing it now.
all the time.
So they make a comment, may generate negative impacts on adjacent properties. Where's the proof of that?
Well, Jennifer's here to speak to it.
Okay.
Well, I'm not here to speak to the reasons for why council has rejected, just procedural issues. So as Braden mentioned, there are requirements under the act when a subdivision zoning bylaw amendment has been defeated that reasons for rejection are required. And those are appealable by the applicant to the municipal board.
Yeah, we forgot to give the,
I didn't forget, you could do it at the next meeting.
okay, but it says Counselor Hunt, the application may generate.
Yeah, but may generate, so now it leaves it open to, and that's an opinion. Of how can. It's just a very general clause that may generate negative impact on whose opinion is that coming from? So,
Well, it will be from council, right? So you have to be careful, you know, when you give a reason, how it's going to be challenged, right? So if you want to get real specific with your reason and council agrees with you, I mean, it's up to council.
Yeah, I'm just.
Do you want to get specific with it?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
This is,
Potentially, instead of saying that it might impact adjacent properties, we should be stating that it does not align with the existing development bylaw.
That's not, I didn't vote it down, council did, so.
Well, that's why we.
And
Council.
that wasn't stated at the meeting.
Yeah.
Wasn't,
no,
I thought we had stated that.
Counselor Dornbach had brought up that you didn't like the RA zoning because it didn't fit with the current.
Zoning bylaw.
yeah, I'm okay with it as is.
The RA zoning bylaw is the way it is, and that was fine the way it was. They just wanted to rezone that area as RA instead of RR, which would have opened the door for things to come in. Why? Had nothing to do with the rezoning. You can rezone that anything, and it is zoned as RR already, so it's just changing it to a smaller lot and different conditional uses that were permitted.
Okay. Counselor Mondor moved, Counselor Dorma seconded, all those in favor? Those opposed? That matters. Okay. You were here. Sorry. Okay. Next item, resolution for decision for subdivision number S 253120. We never voted on this one at the last meeting. Counselor Slaker asked to be put over. Okay, whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 13300 and 13400 has made application for subdivision number S 253120 for the premises described as 8 McLennan Road. The purpose is to subdivide the subject land of 2 lots of 0.65 and 10.63 acres into a total of 21 lots, no new road proposed in the future RA suburban residential zone. Now therefore be it resolved that subdivision application number S 253120 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions. 1, applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that A, taxes on the land to be subdivided plus any arrears have been paid or arrangements satisfactory to council have been made, and B, payment of the administration fee and service deposit required as per bylaw number 4165 for the preparation of a development agreement and related charges. Number 2, the applicant owner enters into a development agreement with the municipality to address items including but not limited to A, an engineered lot grade and drainage plan that ensures stormwater management post-development water runoff is equal to or less than pre-development. B, an engineered utility brackets LPS servicing plan, construction timelines. C, D, dedication of public reserve lands not exceeding 10% of the subject land for payment in lieu. Payment of capital development levies for the creation of all new residential lots. F, any other standard deemed necessary by the municipality. Number 3, applicant owner enter into a drainage and or right-of-way easement with municipality if required. 4, applicant owner to provide digital copies of all plans for review and approval by the municipality. Number 5, applicant owner to obtain all required variances for the proposed lots related to area and width. Number 6, applicant owner to obtain all required variances or demolish / remove all the accessory structures on the proposed lots 18 and 19. Note, Manitoba Land Surveyor to verify dimensions existing structures. Number 7, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreement has been entered into with Hydro with respect to existing and or future facilities associated with the subdivision and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act. 8, applicant owner to submit written confirmation from Manitoba Sport, Culture and Heritage, the Manitoba Historic Resources Branch, Archaeological Assessment Services, that a Heritage Resources Impact Assessment has been completed for the planned area at their own expense, and any mitigation processes required have been completed to the satisfaction of the Manitoba Historic Resources Branch. Number 9, applicant owner submits written confirmation that an engineer drainage plan has been approved. Manitoba Environment and Climate Change Drainage and Water Rights Licensing, a license to construct water control works. And then the information who to contact with the province. Number 10, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Canada Post that all requirements of that agency pertaining to the proposed subdivision have been met. Number 11, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Rogers that an easement agreement has been entered into with Rogers with respect to existing and or future facilities associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Okay. So we'll get it on the table. Could I get a mover, please? Counselor Hunt?
1 second, this is not a planning hearing, so why are we going over this?
We've already held the public
Already
hearing
heard the
for the
hearing.
We
subdivision.
got the public hearing, yeah,
Okay.
but we never voted on it. It was tabled on this part.
Okay, because I
I
thought you
think
could, okay, thank
to
you.
give them 30 days to see if they wanted to do something different without having to spend way more money with RRP.
Okay, so,
Yeah, but no, they would have to file a whole new
But
application.
that's why I put it forward the way I did,
So
so
did
they
you-
could have time to look into
Just
that.
did you second this?
Yeah, I did.
We have
No.
Jennifer here, she could.
Counselor Hunt? I mean, Counselor Dornbach.
yep, okay, so, because the zoning bylaw amendment didn't go through, that pretty much defunct that.
No,
subdivision.
that's,
So you can't have one without the other.
No. Applying to the subdivision. Well, we'll let Jennifer will.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A decision still needs to be made on the subdivision because was an application that was presented to council. So we do understand that the zoning bylaw was defeated. However, we are still of the opinion that a condition should be added that the applicant owner have an appropriate zone to accommodate the subdivision. So I understand that variances were added as a condition in lieu, but we feel that rezoning of the property should remain as a condition on there. But a decision is required on the application itself.
Because Counselor Dornbach at the original hearing date, there was 2 matters. The zoning and the subdivision. So we have to vote. There's a separate resolution required for each. So we have to vote on it. Counselor Slaker.
so my understanding, Ms. Ferguson, is we turned down the subdivision because it was RA. If this was to go through, it would follow RR, which is already designated as. Am I on the right page or not?
No, we're voting
I'm
on the
asking.
subdivision today. You asked the subdivision be tabled.
I asked Jennifer if you don't mind.
Well, I'm explaining because
Well, I would like to hear from Jennifer.
Thank you. Jennifer, please explain to council. Thank you.
Yeah, so the application for the rezoning was defeated and you passed a reason for rejection as required by the act, but the subdivision is still on the table. I understand the subdivision was deferred, allowing the applicant, if they wanted the time to revise it. They have chosen not to revise, as I understand, and they're going forward with the application as presented. Under the current status, it is zoned rural residential that requires a lot size of 60,000 square feet. I understand they're proposing 20,000 square feet approximately, which is why we're suggesting that the condition be added that the applicant owner rezone the property to an appropriate zone to accommodate the lots in question.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions?
Sorry.
No, that's what your job is.
So the resolution is to have the property rezoned to RA, correct?
So that's how the
Marina?
that was the original resolution, correct? It
Exactly.
specified the bylaw number and to RA, that's correct.
So they want to continue with an RR, but have a variance to bring it into a 20,000 square foot compliance?
So I understand that's what's being proposed. We are of the opinion that when you're varying lot size to that degree, that's outside the scope of a variance, and you're effectively varying density, which is land use, which doesn't meet the requirements under the Planning Act.
Okay, we just went through this not that long ago, so, okay, thanks, Jennifer.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Are you good?
I'm good, thank you.
The way the resolution is written right now is with variances.
Yes.
If we wanted to take RRPD's recommendation, we would need to revise condition 5 to reflect that, to add the zoning back in.
And that would be 21 days.
Potentially more for density and width, possibly.
So, yeah, one more. So
That's okay.
before we go ahead with this, we understand that we're right in the middle of WSP doing a revamp.
Mhm.
So I'm uncertain why this is coming now when they could possibly have something in the future which would maybe comply or be in compliance with what we've possibly proposed.
Councilor, on your turn. Or let's get Jennifer, are you able to answer Councilor Donald?
Yeah. So the applicant has decided to move forward with the application. So they're asking for a decision of council. Yeah.
Thanks.
Councilor Hunt?
As is, so what's the new zone that this would fall under?
It's existing RR, rural residential, and
Okay, but what's the new one planned with?
proposed for the change in the zoning bylaw.
Is,
Proposed, remember, this is not in effect, a 100-foot frontage currently and half an acre in lot size.
what'll that be designated? What's the letters of designation of that?
Rural residential.
ORR as well?
Correct, that would apply to this area if the proposed bylaw update, the zoning bylaw update was approved as it is currently in draft format. But I can't speak to that. It's a very good chance that it will be revised.
This is kind of redundant of voting on it when the variance process has already been defeated.
Yeah.
No, the zoning bylaw has been defeated.
No, the variances.
Yeah.
Perhaps a question for Jennifer, is there a timeline when a decision has to be made on this subdivision?
Yes, there is a timeline. I think previously I said it was 60 days. It's actually 90 days for a decision on a subdivision.
How long has it been?
Well, we don't have this on the next agenda so it would be prior to the June public hearing meeting. That would be our deadline to make a decision. So it would have to be done at some point next month. Would be the limit, unless we were calling a special meeting.
Yeah, then we don't call a special.
Mhm.
Councilor Slaker, or you had your finish?
I'm done.
Go ahead, Councilor.
So really, I just want to make sure I got this. I understood what Jennifer said, but you're saying the variances are too extreme to really even consider variances for this. You want it changed to RA? You want a whole different, well, that's what we kicked out with RA.
Jennifer, you explain it again. Right.
And I can quickly jump, it doesn't
That's an
necessarily need
opinion,
to be an RA zone, they could create their
Correct.
own zone for this subdivision as a possibility.
Councillor Mondry, you have.
I don't even know where to start. I'm so thoroughly disappointed with this coming before council. I thought we had defeated this already, and I think every single person in the audience that night and the 2,000 people that have signed the petitions thought this was over and done with, and for this to be coming up, it's just doesn't
Well, we
feel,
have
it
no-
doesn't feel right.
We don't have any choice because it
Yeah.
was tabled. We
Yeah, I
were
get it.
supposed
I
to make
understand.
a
I remember
decision at the
vaguely.
time.
Vaguely, I remember. And then with the, the open houses that we're having with all the people and the input that the public are supposed to have.
That's on a zoning bylaw. This, we're talking about the subdivision, what was previously before council.
Yeah.
Well, maybe to help the applicant out and, maybe we need to table this again until I know they're, looks like they're really wanting to get this through, but, sometimes patience pays off and maybe we just wait until we see what comes up for a proper zone, size in that area and go with that, but, again, they're spending money again for possibly variances or for another defeat, so.
But if we table it and wait, we're cutting into their 90 days for a decision to be made.
It's nice, okay.
And the zoning bylaw update is a whole process. We
So-
haven't even finished, tomorrow's the open house in Petersfield. Then we've got to give first reading, if there are any changes. When do you suggest that there will be, it's proposed?
There's a very real possibility the draft zoning bylaw update won't even receive first reading by the time we need to make a decision on this subdivision. The timing is a little awkward. Yes.
Governor?
Jennifer, could you give your opinion again on what you said about your opinion on a variance? Like,
Right, absolutely. So under the rural residential zone, the lot size requirement is 60,000 square feet. What the applicant is proposing is 20,000 square feet. So that degree of variation is not consistent with what's considered under the provisions of variance. You can vary certain things, but density is not something that you can vary. So because it's such a deviation from the requirements, it's a third of the requirement, that's considered a variance in density, which wouldn't be permitted, which is why we're suggesting that as a condition, the applicant owner rezone the property to an appropriate zone to accommodate that. And as Braden had mentioned, there's opportunity that they could come forward with a new zone or perhaps the zoning bylaw at a future date, because a subdivision is granted conditional approval. You're given 2 years to fulfill those conditions. Maybe there's something in the zoning bylaw that would accommodate that.
but we've done variances for farmland where your minimum off of a retirement split is 80 acres and we varied it down to 76 acres.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's it's the same principle what you're saying. So it's good for one, but not good for the other.
It is a different principle because the provisions within the development plan allow those exemptions, right? So it is a bit of a different case in the case of a farm severance.
But we've done it in other situations too, like varying. I understand, but yeah, okay. But is that in a municipal act or just an opinion of density rather than a variance?
So that falls under the Planning Act and what you can and can't vary. So this is varying land use if you're looking at a different density, and that's our opinion from the RRPD.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? That is defeated. I remind Councillor Mondor, you did commit to stating you're unbiased.
No, I just applauded the democratic process that just took place.
Award of, okay, next is new business.
We done with Jennifer? She's staying on.
Award of RFP 2026-01, design build construction of municipal soccer fields. Whereas the municipality issued request for proposal RFP 2026-01 ED to solicit proposals from qualified entities to undertake the design and construction of 3 full-size natural turf municipal soccer fields at the Lists Road Recreation Site. And whereas 6 submissions were received and evaluated. And whereas Lacoste Landscaping and Construction Limited provided the best overall value based on their technical approach, project understanding and cost. And whereas the proposed irrigation design is based on assumptions regarding the capacity and suitability of the existing on-site well, which has not been fully verified. Now therefore be it resolved that the Arm of St. Andrews Council award the proposal submission to Lacoste Landscaping and Construction Limited, option 4, in the amount of $336,216 plus 13 cents, plus applicable taxes, and authorize Arm administration to execute the contract. And further be it resolved that at the end of the design build process, the successful proponent shall be required to verify existing site conditions, including the capacity and suitability of the existing well, and confirm the proposed irrigation approach. And further be it resolved that should the existing well be determined to be insufficient for municipal purposes, any required modifications, including the potential installation of a new well, shall be addressed through the appropriate change order process, subject to council approval. Could I get a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder, Councillor Mondor, question?
I'll speak to it really briefly.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a very, a lot of interest in this project. Spoke with a lot of contractors on it. 6 submissions is quite good. We went through all of the proposals that were submitted. There was, they were all evaluated on their ability. I feel all contractors would be able to fulfill the work, but one had a clear competitive edge on the pricing there. There were some proposals we received with some kind of conflicting information regarding the on-site well. So there is an existing well that AK Soccer has drilled, and the RFP was drafted with the assumption we would tie in and utilize that. This proponent and others have assumed that yes, that is possible, while others have assumed there may be water pressure constraints if you're operating them at the same time, and that may be an issue that may come up. So we want to ensure that there's going to be no concerns with watering multiple fields at the same time. And if that requires our own well for our municipal field portion, we would go through that through a change order process. But right now, just proceeding with the contract as they presented it.
Perfect, thank you. Councillor Slade, you had a question?
I was gonna just say, Braden, what are thoughts for it? So you beat me to it.
There you go.
All those, any further questions? Councillor Beavercorn?
Are we voting on the options that were presented?
No,
Or
we're voting on the issuing.
Just the recommendation, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Next item, 12.2, land provision, senior housing that is affordable. Whereas the Orillius Valley of St. Andrews Council has identified a need for housing that will allow community residents to age in place. Whereas the RM of St. Andrews has signed a letter of intent to collaborate on the development of an affordable seniors housing facility, along with the participating communities that also signed letters of intent. Whereas John Q. Public is undertaking on behalf of John Q. Home Inc. funding applications to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, and Build Canada Homes, BCH, for funding to support the seniors housing that is affordable initiative. Therefore, be it resolved that the Arm of St. Andrews Council commits to providing a minimum of 5 acres of surface and ready for construction land zoned appropriately for the development of a seniors housing facility delivered through the John Q model. Further be it resolved that the CAO, council member, and or a dedicated representative from the Arm of St. Andrews Council be assigned to join the Senior Housing Working Group to work with John Q. Public / John Q. Home Inc. to advance this project forward. Could I get a mover, please? Councillor Sliker, seconder. Councillor Beavercorn. Okay, comments. Councillor Sliker.
I'm not sure why we need all that other stuff in there. I'm on the board and Braden's been part of this project all the way through. So I'm not sure why we need all that other,
I think that's what John Q requested.
I don't recall that.
That's their resolution.
Yeah, they said
This is
it.
their resolution, yeah.
Okay, well, I would like to have it stated in the resolution that it's the board member and the planner.
Well, I think the CAO should be involved in this as well.
The planner feeds back to the CAO, so we're fine.
I don't think we have to specify anyone.
I do.
I don't think it's up to the board member to choose the administrative person.
I'm just saying, that's who's been doing it.
Mhm.
From day
But then
one, we've been on it since day one. So let's not make this a big technical.
Or not, but
We are.
is there, you know,
I am on
now
board.
we're going there, is there a reason John Q doesn't want me on it?
You can do whatever you like,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. CAO, but you haven't been part of it from the beginning.
Well, because it's
I
the.
have many a conversations with you about it,
Mhm,
so does Braden.
mhm.
I don't know why you always try to pretend you're left in the dark when you're not. You and I have conversations lots of times about this board.
Mhm.
This is a project, it's gonna take some time. Braden and I have been a part of it from day one, and I would just like you to say that. That's my request.
But this is a John Q template. Have you discussed this with the rest of the board? Because you need a board decision, not just one single member of the board.
You can add things to the template, not a problem.
That's not common practice on anything.
Well, I've seen it done.
So you are speaking on behalf of John Q administration and the board? Solely,
What is your issue?
this is a John Q template.
Correct.
This is.
So all I want to
provide-
add is,
So you want the CAO removed?
no, I just want it spelled out that the board member that's on the board is on this committee.
Well, it says the CAO, a council member, that's you, and a dedicated representative. That's great.
Everybody got that?
We put the council board member on there, which is fine, could be anybody at any.
That's what I don't want. I mean, you can put another one on, but it's my committee, so I want to be the one that's on it. That's what I'm
Well,
going.
you here as a council member, you're on here.
You'll be involved with the things because you're on John Q anyway.
Mhm. That's the part I wanted to.
Yeah, well, that would be just a given because you're on the board
You're on
already.
the committee, passed by council.
Okay, as long as we all know that, thank you very much.
Any other comments by council, Councilmember?
I think it's a great idea, and I was just wondering if we have any ideas of where we might like to dedicate the land or the, whereabouts in our community it might be.
Yeah, well, we've proposed some land, but it's not serviced. And, high density like this isn't wanted,
Yeah, majority.
so.
So where-
We'll give a resolution, we'll give some land, we've given some land right in Kentucky and Petersfield unserviced, and I don't believe it's zoned properly for this.
It's zoned rural residential or seasonal residential in Petersfield. It's approximately a 35-acre piece of land, very large. It's not serviced, but there is proximity to the Petersfield Lagoon potentially. So with the John Q, I ran this by them and they posed no objection to the land. I made it clear it was not serviced. Didn't seem to be an issue at this time. I'm under the impression they want as many suitable pieces of property as they can for their Build Canada Homes grant application, whether they're serviced or not for that business case.
So we wouldn't have, as council, we wouldn't have, any input on where.
It needs to be municipal owned property, so that really restricts the limit of which land we have. Not much down south in the serviced area. At the same time, they did not restrict that it needs to absolutely be serviced. They are looking at steps for how can we get that ready for servicing as well as part of that, so.
I'm just thinking seniors, usually when there's a senior complex, they usually want close proximity to
Amenities,
and
yes.
stuff, right?
Can you imagine?
I know it's
bringing this-
difficult.
Do you imagine bringing this to your neighborhood?
No, there's definite, things that we have to do, but I just think it's a great idea. Even knocking on door to door, people were talking about that 3.5 years ago in the election time.
As long as it's not by their house.
Well, they never stated that, but they said they wanted some place where they could retire and live in the community, so.
Any other comments by council? Because I'm thinking. My concern is the debacle with the daycares and all that money. Where did it go? It's under investigation. should be concerned if we're involved with this until that investigation is complete.
Metro, there, at the last, juncture, we have not heard of any investigation, and we have not heard that we, would take some Takilo part of. Audit, Mr. Takilo, that is the head of the.
Auditor General.
Auditor General, there's nothing been filed with John Q. That's all media speculation, so it's too bad that you continue to push that, but that is not where the board is at.
Well, there was huge publicity on that.
Well, that's media speculation, Mayor Tool. So unless it comes into John Q in black and white, I don't really think he should be sitting there doing that and sharing, and spreading that around.
It's all over the media, Counselor Schleicher,
Well,
and I'm entitled to an opinion and a comment just as you are.
okay,
Have you heard if there's anything further investigation by the province?
Well, I don't wanna comment on this because, I feel threatened to comment on it, but I'm just not going to say anything.
When you say daycare debacle, explain.
Well, why did Rockwood opt out? It was started in Clevefield Daycare. When it was so many million, they went to insure it and it was less than half the value. And that's where the, what was it? I forget how many million out. The insurance wouldn't cover it.
Yeah, well, did you talk to Western Financial at all when you're at the trade show, to ask them their opinion for that? Well, maybe you should have.
you should.
Why did you
And
talk to
Rockwood-
them? What did they say?
And Rockwood didn't opt out, they opted out of John Q. And they have one, well, they have one in Stony Mountain and one in Stonewall.
And
I don't
that's
think
when
they-
opted out.
I don't think they opted out about the daycare. I think they
No.
opted out about the $15 million.
That's their choice.
Mhm.
Again, it's speculation until something is brought to the board. This is just a starting point. If we can plant some trees around 5 acres of property in Petersfield or something at the airport or whatever, if it never goes through, well,
The
it
trees are
values
the
the
next
property
matter
even
on,
more.
the trees are the next resolution on here. We're dealing right now with the seniors.
Yeah.
Counselor Wander?
Yeah, I'd just like to comment that I remember a few of us trying to bring up this John Q daycare thing.
Mhm.
And when you go around and visit the various communities that have built these daycares, they're fabulous places and they're full of kids and the communities are utilizing them. And I really don't know what the financial implications or that, you know, I have heard the media stuff, but these communities that have undertaken this have wonderful facilities. And I think we really missed out on something that could have benefited us. So that's just my opinion.
Counselor Favorite?
Yeah, this was something that I wanted to, in part of my term, to get somewhere close to some type of senior housing, and this looks like the closest we've come thus far, and if this is potentially an option, I'd be all for it.
Any further comments? Counselor Murphy?
You know, I'd just like to say if this is on the table, if it's and I have to be careful what I say here, potential option, yeah, why don't we take a look at it? You know, I don't think we should just brush it aside.
I agree,
Okay,
needed.
Counselor's like, oh yes, of course it's needed. Counselor Slaker moved it, Counselor Favorite seconded. All those in favor? Those opposed?
You're opposed to senior housing?
No, I've thought about it since I've been on council in 2014. I'm just concerned because of what happened with the daycare.
And what happened? Are you getting, okay?
Yes, you don't read the media. You
No,
don't talk to other members.
no, I
of
don't
the
read
council.
the media. Let me tell you a story about that, because people that
FDM tree
read the
planting.
newspaper
Next item.
are misinformed.
Municipality, Roar and St. Andrews had the following interests: improve quality of life for residents, particularly seniors, through greener, healthier living in environments that support mental and physical health through access to green space, increase climate resilience with shade, cooling, wind protection, and water management, enhance tree canopy to improve air quality and reduce greenhouse gas impact. Whereas John Q. Public is undertaking on behalf of John Q. Homing a funding application to the Federal Canadian Municipalities, FCM, for tree planting funding to support the seniors housing that is affordable initiative. Be it resolved, that the Arma St. Andrews Council acknowledges that it is applying for a funding opportunity from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, Growing Canada's Community Canopies Initiative for the Seniors House. In that is affordable project in partnership with John Hughes participating community. The Arma St. Andrews Council also recognizes that the lifetime contribution from the Growing Canada's Community Canopies Initiative will not exceed 10 million for tree planting within our municipality, inclusive of a maximum contribution of 1 million for infrastructure activity costs, and that if approved, this project will be counted towards that limit. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Slaker, seconded by Councillor Dornbos. Questions by council? I have a question for our rep on John Q, Councillor Slaker. What is this last paragraph? Is their template? Inclusive of a maximum contribution of 1 million.
That's how much is in the fund.
But
It's up to 10.
this applies to the Arma St. Andrews Council also recognized the lifetime contribution from this initiative will not exceed 10 million for tree planting within our municipality, inclusive of a maximum contribution of 1 million.
Okay.
So does that mean the RM is gonna be responsible for 1 million?
No, it means that the RM can apply also for this grant, which Braden and I talked about. So the RM can get trees out of this for the soccer field or wherever else we need, so Braden will be, or someone will be applying for that part of it. This resolution is allowing John Q to apply for the seniors project portion of the tree.
Oh, but on the last resolution, you said that the when you discussed the seniors project, that trees can be planted at the airport, the soccer field.
Those are the trees that we will apply.
Oh, you didn't state that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marisol, that I wasn't that precise, I apologize.
Well, we're dealing with, this is a separate,
Okay, so let's keep going. I think I've explained it now.
well, so if we vote in favor of this, can these trees from John Hughes be used at the soccer field, the airport, wherever we want?
Braden,
You're our rep on the board.
I'll turn it over to Braden.
There's an active allotment of 10 million per municipality through this fund. This resolution is going jointly with the seniors that is affordable housing for that specific project. It would be taken from that fund. We cannot exceed that amount. We can also apply independently on our own for tree planting elsewhere in the municipality. It would still come from that same fund though. So whatever is depleted for use of trees at the seniors housing, if that goes forward, would be removed from that pool for us going forward. There's a max amount we're allowed. And that 1 million piece of infrastructure is for, topsoil grading work that's involved with tree planting.
So this resolution is just for the seniors project.
Correct.
It's not for everything else.
That would be
Okay.
a separate resolution to pass for that, yes.
I can't very much agree one and not the other. Okay, although, any further questions, Councilor Wondren?
Eastern Interlake Watershed District also gives free trees. You just have to apply for them. So that might be another viable option instead of taking the money out of this account here.
We also have what council approved is the MMF on number 4. The tree nursery, that's the
Oh,
10
check,
million trees. project.
But it's good to plant trees.
Okay, all those in favor? Those opposed?
So you're against planting trees too?
Well, how can I vote? I voted against the seniors thing. This is for trees to plant at the seniors thing.
And
So
other
what-
places in the municipality. Wow.
Fire halls, hiring of new members. Be resolved that. Oh, I believe,
Oh, there's something on the table first.
no, say,
Oh,
okay.
Mayor, I'd like to just abstain from voting as one of the members recommended by the fire chief at Center Hall as a family member, so I'll just abstain.
Be resolved that council authorize the hiring of Gavin Feeblecorn as a member of the Center Fire Hall Convoy as recommended by the fire chief. Be it further resolved that council authorize the hiring of Nick Van Outen, Bradley Yurchenko, Ryan Brown, Brody Pajak, and Eric Flatten as members of the South Fire Hall, St. Andrews as recommended by the fire chief. Could I get a mover, please? Counselor, Hunt, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marecki. Any comments? Question, all in favor? And Counselor Beavercoin has abstained. That is carried. Next item. Oh, it was an addition. I have a quick announcement for council, it just came up. I have to announce to all of you and the residents. I'm being arrested on May the 6th. And I'm being charged with failing to drive the armed grader. I will be held in a cell at Selkirk McDonald's on McHappy Days on Main Street, Selkirk. I need everyone's help raising bail money for my release, and I would appreciate your financial support. 100% of the proceeds will go to Ronald McDonald House for McHappy Day. So please be generous. Thank you. Or drop into McDonald's. You're a police officer, you understand how it goes. I want your cash. Next item, I just want everyone to know. Next item is in camera. Be it resolved, the council move in camera at 6:58 p.m. to discuss matters that are in preliminary stages and respecting which discussion in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiations, as well as legal and personnel issues. And be it further resolved that the members of council agree to keep in confidence a matter that is discussed at a meeting that is closed to the public under section 152(3), and that the committee decides to keep confidential until the matter is discussed at a meeting of a council or of a committee conducted in public. Could I get a mover, please? Councillor Doornbos, seconded by Councillor Slicker. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Thank you, Braden. We're in. Be it resolved, the council move out of in camera at 8:19 p.m. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Doornbos, seconder, Deputy Mayor Marecki. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. We have resolutions, rise and report coming out of in camera. Item 15.1. PUB to review and vary South St. Andrews rates, April 2026. Whereas current South St. Andrews wastewater utility rates are based on City of Winnipeg wastewater volume rates at $2.91 per cubic meter, and participation fee at $284.46 per customer. And whereas the City of Winnipeg wastewater volume rate is $4.53 per cubic meter in 2026 and $4.75 per cubic meter in 2027, and 2026 participation fee is $332 per residential unit and $332 for each 500,000 of developed assessed market value of non-residential properties. Therefore, be it resolved that the Orm of St. Andrews request PUB review and vary South St. Andrews utility rates to increase quarterly customer service charge from $80.82 to $92.70, and wastewater rates from $3.57 to $5.19 per cubic meter, both effective July 1st, 2026, and to increase wastewater rates to $5.41 effective January 1st, 2027, to reflect increases in rates charged to South St. Andrews Utility from 2021 to 2027. And further be it resolved that draft bylaw 4435 to increase South St. Andrews utility rates by the amount that the City of Winnipeg wastewater volume and participation fee rates have increased from 2021 to 2026, effective July 1st, 2026, and the amount of the City of Winnipeg wastewater volume rate increased in 2027, effective January 1st, 2027, be given first reading and submitted to the Public Utilities Board for approval. Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Slaker, seconder. Seconder, Counselor Feeblecorn, any comments by council? Counselor Mondor?
I know we're in a deficit with our South St. Andrews sewer system, but I still think we should be looking for all avenues to help fund this before we increase it as much as we're going to here.
Thank you. And as indicated, the CAO will be contacting Water Services Board, see whatever grant funding is available. All those in favor? All those opposed? That matter is carried. Next item. Resident reimbursement sewer connection. Whereas the municipality has no formal policy on reimbursing residents for sewer connections exceeding 200 feet and has communicated to external stakeholders of said reimbursement. And whereas the informal policy was initiated in 2021 to encourage residents to connect to the sewer within 5 years ending on June 30th, 2026. That council make a formal exception and approve a reimbursement in the amount of $5,700 to the homeowner of 462 River Road property for sewer connection costs exceeding 200 feet and be expensed to the utility operating statement. And that this approval is a consistent approach in honoring the original intent of the offering from the RM to residents as part of the original 5-year commitment that is set to expire on June 30th, 2026. Be it resolved that council grant approval for payment in the amount of $5,700 to the owner of 462 River Road for sewer connection costs and to be expensed to the utility operating statement. And further be it resolved that the reimbursement program for sewer connections exceeding 200 feet will end on June 30th, 2026. Could I have a mover, please? Counselor Slaker, seconder, Deputy Mayor Marecki. Any comments by council members? I second. All those in favor? That is unanimous. It is approved. Next item is adjournment. Be it resolved that the council meeting be adjourned at 8:24 p.m. Do I have a mover, please? Councilor Dornbos, seconded by Councilor Slaker. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Good night, everyone.